Story Corner, presented by Jennifer. Bella Sarah, Book 1, Bella's Gift, Chapter 12. Okay, for those of you who have not yet seen my other Bella Sarah videos, I suggest you go view those now, as this is a continuation of that story. Connell had been expecting to feel the weightlessness of falling, but instead he was being lifted up on waves of air. He started to move his legs and realized he was actually running on air as he went higher and higher into the sky. The wolf pack and Stigmore were already tiny flecks in the distance below. Bella, he thought, she must be lending me her flying ability to help me escape. Connell looked for the North Star and continued traveling on the air path in the direction of what he just knew in his heart was Trail's End. He'd been there only once, but for some strange reason, his heart was pulling him towards it. He wasn't sure how long the trip would take him, but he knew that he would make it there. Jillian and Connell raced across the emerald green fields to the edge of the small stream. "You win, Pussyfoot!" Jillian cried. Connell nudged her playfully. His new body, like his new home, was starting to feel familiar, although he couldn't call it comfortable. They stopped to catch their breath. Connell waded into the stream to cool his tired limbs. "Oh, Fuzzyfoot," Jillian said, looking around. "Who would have ever imagined us here?" Trail's End seemed like a dream to both of them. Still, Connell couldn't help but feel like an outsider. Neither wolf nor horse, he was an outcast of Stigmore Castle and a stranger to Trail's End. This was Ivina's plan, of course, for Connell to spend his days alone, not truly fitting in anywhere. The thought filled his mind like a storm cloud. Just then, Bella appeared, cantering across the field towards Connell and Jillian. Connell felt his sadness melt away. He remembered that night, alone on the mountain ledge, facing Marfor and the pack. It was Bella who had told him to leap. She had spoken to him and given him the courage he needed to trust his instincts. He'd gotten there without the shadow path, simply by trusting Bella and listening to her voice. And in all his days here, Bella had never once made Connell feel unwelcomed. She treated him with the same kindness as she did members of her own herd. She believed in him. Bella greeted Jillian and Connell with a flick of her majestic head. The last lingering doubts drifted from Connell's mind like a cloud in the wind. Trail's End was his home now. A world away, through the winding reaches of the shadow path, deep within a castle colder and darker than Stigmore, Ivina and Marfoy faced their own fates. The wolf and his rider bowed humbly before the wrath of one who was even more evil and powerful than themselves. "Stupid wolfins!" an angry voice hissed. Did you really expect to defeat Bella and her allies so easily?" "Mistress," Ivina pleaded, "you must understand." "Silence!" the voice boomed. "It is you who must understand. You have failed me. You have failed all wolf riders. Next time, and there will be a next time, you will not be so careless. If you are, mark my words, there will be grave consequences." The great horse whinnied at Jillian. Jillian realized she was meant to climb aboard and ride with Bella. Gently, she hoisted herself up and entwined her fingers in Bella's soft white mane. Bella began to trot, her graceful gait eating up the distance over the ground. Then the two slowly rose into the air, galloping across the open sky. The wind blew through Jillian's hair, and sunlight warmed her face. She closed her eyes, and her thoughts floated more freely than they ever had. Her mind wandered back. There was a sun-drenched field. Wildflowers were sprinkled through like a vast landscape of knee-high grass. In the clearing sat a colorful caravan, painted red and embellished with yellow and turquoise swirls. A line of clothing had been hung to dry in the warm air. Shirts and dresses and cloth diapers for a baby. On the ground, flattened out patch of grass beneath it, lay a colorful patchwork blanket. In the middle of the blanket, a baby with soft red hair cooed and gurgled. Jillian immediately sensed a connection with the baby. As she studied it more closely, she gasped. It was herself years ago. As the thought sank in, she began to see the rest of the vision from the baby's eyes, lying there on the blanket, looking up at the sky. A woman, her arms loaded with fresh laundry, came over. She gazed down at the baby Jillian. The woman had red hair too, and green eyes that sparkled like gems. Her smile was as bright as the sunshine that formed a warm halo around her head. This was Jillian's mother. Kind, caring, and loving. A man's deep voice echoed in the background, full of laughter. Jillian's father. The woman moved out of the picture, and baby Jillian once again lay contently staring at the sky. Puffy white clouds floated by. Tree branches blew in the breeze above. Her baby eyes fluttered closed, opening a few moments later as another creature filled the space above her. It was a horse, as white and pure as the clouds above. The horse's dark eyes gazed deeply into baby Jillian's, as if offering a gift. Bella. Jillian had known her years ago, as a baby. Bella had come to her, summoned by the special forces inside Jillian that called to animals. Their paths had been destined to cross again. The memory had lived deep inside Jillian without her even knowing. It had fueled her vision at the castle. Jillian slowly opened her eyes. There she was, once again in Trail's End, racing through the sky on Bella's back. Only now a sense of wholeness like she had never known filled her entire being. The aching gaps in her memory were gone. At peace with her past and her own special powers, Jillian could look towards her future. She gently squeezed Bella's neck. "Thank you," she whispered. Thank you for giving me the greatest gift.